Hello, Lynn. Hello, Mary Ann. How are you? Make sure that you could hear me. So, hopefully, this week I won't get booted off. Hi, Stevie. Yep, raining, 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 raining. Got my buckets out to catch all the water so that I have water for the next few, I don't know, maybe month. They actually have rain collection buckets. I wonder if you have one, Lynn. This would have been a good year to have that. Where they have some kind of, it looks like, I think they're like big trash cans and they collect water. But that's what I do. I put out all of these buckets or these, plastic containers everywhere. And then I just actually watered my plants, some of my plants that were not in the water recently. And then I also take my big plants and I put them outside so they can get the rain. Because, the rain is just, the rainwater is so healthy, so nutritious for our plants. All right. Anything going on in particular this week that you'd like to focus on? I would like to work on the word strength today, but not in a way that scares you. So, of course, doing whatever you can do is what matters to me, not just making it be yours. So that would be important. All right, I'm going to go back. I won't be able to say hi to anyone else that texts or chats because I won't see from over here. All right. So I wanted to say something. So I've taught for Torrance Memorial Hospital since 2014, and the population that I teach to is 50 plus. And when I started, my body was in a place of degeneration because I had this major hip issue going on. So I had this raised awareness of how important it was to be safe as you move your body, as you practice. And that is really an important thing because when we strengthen our bones or our body or our joints or our ligaments, when we're pulling and pushing on all these body parts to maintain strength in our lives, which is what we're doing with the physical practice of yoga, when we do that, what's really important is that we do it safely. And so what I've noticed over the years in my experience teaching is that if someone is pushed too hard, or if what's being offered is too challenging, let's say it that way, okay? Not push too hard. I don't push anyone. But if what is being offered looks too daunting or challenging, there might be the thought of I can't or I shouldn't do that. And so then someone will not do any of those that movement or those movements. But rather, what's important is for us to explore where we can move our body, because if we don't move our joints, we end up getting stiff, we lose things, we lose ability. And that's what I've noticed over the years as a teacher, not really in my own body, because I've gained from where I came from, and I work on maintenance. And there's certain ways that I test that. Like every single morning, we have a cat that sleeps with us. He's like amazing. And every morning I have what I call love fest with him. So I will come onto the ground in this position and he'll come here and I'll do a love fest. But what I've been doing even before that to get him like excited about it, or to like almost a signal, I was coming on the ground to do this. And today what I noticed when I did that is I noticed this, because after sleeping all night, your body's in a certain position. When I came into the ground, I noticed that I had so much bend in my hips, so much bend in my knees. My belly was pressing across my top thighs. Now, a little thing here for those with osteoporosis, the no place to compress would be the front of the spine. So if you're bending forward and if you do have osteoporosis and you wanted to do a forward fold, only of course if you have this much range of motion and flexibility in your joints. So I come forward like this and I put my arms out to stretch and I put my head on the ground, which is actually not something I ever teach in a class. But when I was here this morning, I thought, wow, my body has all that ability in it. Now, yeah, I'm in my late 50s. But my goal is to try to maintain whatever I can for as long as I can to maintain that range of motion. So when you see movements or postures in the practice of yoga, Do what you can, find that area. Today we're going to work on strength, strengthen our joints, strengthen our stabilizing muscles. So we may come into a posture and hold it, and it might be more breaths than you can hold. But even if you either come into and out of something, or if you're able to come into a posture and hold it, then you're going to gain something. And the more often you do this, 1 year from now, you're stronger and more limber and have better balance and flexibility in your body. So every little thing adds up. And that's what I would say I notice in my body. My hip replacement was in 2017, and I just see what I have in my body, what I gained in my body from that place that I was in 2017. And it's the little baby steps that get you there. So for today's practice, and for every practice I teach, hopefully, you do what you can, you explore, be curious, and see if this is a good thing for you, whatever it is that I'm doing. So that's what I wanted to start off with today. All right. So I want us to begin today with I want to do chest expansion because I always want to do chest expansion. And I'd like to do something relatively gentle, although for some it may be a little intense. Now, if you have roundness in your upper spine, you're going to need 2 blankets. But if you're pretty close to having pretty decent posture and a pretty healthy thoracic spine, then you're going to be able to do it with 1. But if you have roundness in your upper spine and if your head lifts forward, you may need to have a second blanket. And this is what's going to help. This position here is to help get you into that upright position, because that's where it's healthier for the spine, healthier for upper back and neck muscles, healthier for low back muscles, and just better in terms of joint alignment in the body to reduce wear and tear in the joints. And to keep your minerals in the bones for strong bones, because that's important to always focus on bone health. So we're going to take our blanket, and depending on how big of a movement you want, so you could do it into 3 or 4, because whatever height you get here, putting your heart on that is going to really open up the front of the spine, open up the shoulder joint, the chest muscles, the shoulder muscles. One word of caution for those that do have tears in their shoulders, I wouldn't do anything too high, because if you know you have rotator cuff tears that are sensitive, you don't want to pull on them too much, because then you might be furthering the tearing action. And over the years, that's what I've noticed when we do chest expansion with a support, that those that had precarious shoulders, some of them, it could be not good to actually pull even more on that joint. But for others, if you did have them in the past and you have scar tissue to break up, it's actually amazing. So it's like cobwebs in your shoulders. You need to figure out, are those old cobwebs that could be dislodged, or are they still safe being protective and they're kind of new and you got to be careful. So it's your practice. I'm going to guide you and share things with you, but you've got to choose what's appropriate for you. Put your blanket down, bring yourself to the side, and come onto this so that you have the blanket behind your heart. Blanket is behind your heart, head is on the ground. Keep your knees bent. It's a little better for the low back. And with the knees bent, do a little pelvic tilting using the core muscles to tilt the pelvis, trying to press the low back towards the ground. The arms are still not overhead or to the side yet. So we're bringing this, we're introducing this into the body, noticing here if this is going to be appropriate for your head to be here, or do you feel too much downward pressure on the head? So get a little warming up action to come into your pelvis, into your lower lumbar spine. Let your feet be wider than your body. Let your knees move in towards each other. Tilting. Feel that stretch in the belly. Maybe. Bring yourself back to center. Take your arms. Inhale, open. And then exhale to hug yourself. Inhale. And hug yourself. Start to move your arms a little higher, a little wider, exploring what seems good for you here, what seems safe.
And then let your arms rest wherever they go. And keep your arms overhead to the place where you feel a stretch in the front of your body. Front of your body, maybe it's in your shoulder joint, your chest muscles, maybe it's in the spine by the heart, or maybe it's in the muscles of the belly. If you want to straighten your legs, you could try, see if that feels good. If the low back is not happy, then go back to bent knees. Stretching hip joint, spine, shoulder joint. Let your arms be long. Lift your head up. Tuck your chin towards your chest. The back of your neck is long. The center of your head is on the ground. Let's do a little movement side to side with the head. Bring your awareness to the tip of your nose, and then let your nose go side to side. Imagine you have a Sharpie marker on your nose, and you're trying to draw a rainbow shape on the ceiling with the Sharpie marker on your nose. Feel that arch shape that your head makes when it goes side to side. And then bring yourself back to center. Close your eyes. Find a stretch of some sort. Bring your awareness to your breath, keeping your mind busy with your breath. Let's bring the awareness down to the left foot. And as you breathe in and breathe all the way down to your left foot. Visualize the pathway of breath from the nostrils into the body, down the left leg to the left foot. And on the exhale, from the left foot, up the left leg, up the torso, and out your nose. Let's do the same thing to the right foot, breathing in the nostrils, down the torso, down the right leg to the right foot. See if you could breathe in and let your mind go to both feet at the same time. Now bringing the breath to the belly. And And since you have so much length to your breath, as it comes into the belly, let it come in and then widen and move back. So you have this capacity to breathe all the way down to your feet, yet stopping at the pelvis. Let it take up space forward, sides, and back. Visualizing your pelvis, visualizing your lower ribs, this whole belly area that you're breathing into, where your low back is, where all your digestion and digestive organs are. A lot of lymphatic vessels, intestines, pancreas, liver, stomach, gallbladder, kidneys, bladder, colon, all of that. So breathe down to this part of your body where you digest and absorb and assimilate your food, where your organs of elimination are, and use breath to gently massage, to compress, to stretch, and to squish this part of your body. Breathe as big as you can, keeping your mouth closed, breathing in and out through your nose. For these last few breaths, breathe into your lungs, to your rib cage. Feel the expansion. Feel all that stretch in your ribs, in your center body, noticing how it's not in the lower torso. Keep it in the upper ribs. And when you do this, notice how there's less breath on the exhale. Because it goes out so quickly. It's a less effective way of breathing. Now bring your awareness down to your torso again, to your belly, to where all your digestive organs are. Lymph, blood, urine, where you eliminate, you digest, you absorb. This is your power center. This is where you bring in the nutrients that create energy, hormones, bones, muscles. Breathe to your belly. Breathe so deep that you feel it all the way down to your tailbone, the side of your waist, your pelvic bowl, all of it. Notice how much breath you have to exhale. And then begin to breathe in deep, feel the stretch, hold the breath for however long you can comfortably, and slowly, slowly, slowly allow the breath to leave your body. Using breath as detoxification, using breath for energy production, using breath to compress and move fluids in your body, using breath to support digestion, absorption, elimination, using breath to support your gut. finishing the breath that you're on. Take one more big, deep breath. Let your breath go back to your body. Let your awareness go up and down your body, noticing what you notice. Notice your heart beating. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Slide your arms on the ground up overhead if you're able to, or reach them overhead if they hover. Bring your legs straight off your body or keep the knees bent, whatever you need to do. Find a stretch in your body here, and then bring your awareness to the belly. Draw the lower ribs away from the pelvis. So as your arms reach up, if you'd like, you could even hold on or clasp your hands to get a little bit more stretch. Pull the low ribs as much as you can away from the pelvis. Feel that stretch. And if the low back is not happy here, push your belly towards the spine and your spine towards the ground to help stabilize your lumbar spine, to help protect it from going deeper into extension, which is the natural curve it lives in. Reach your hands up, see if you could feel that stretch, and then flex your feet, reaching through the heels of the feet, either clasping your hands or bending your wrists to reach up, or doing whatever you can with your arms. Take one more breath. From here, you're going to take your legs, walk your legs over to the right, take your left leg on top of your right leg, and then arms are close to the ground for those that can. So I'm giving you the variations in between, or that you need to close your eyes and feel what feels appropriate for you. If your hands can touch the ground, that would be best to keep your shoulders or to keep your spine in the right position, to not let the left pop up. But if that's not okay, then maybe bending your elbows, putting your hands on your shoulders and doing this. Try to bend your upper body, laterally flexing your upper body to the right, and then grab onto your left wrist. Reach your left wrist or your left arm up and to the right. Feel that stretch in the left side body. Breathe to your left side. If the low back isn't happy, stabilize it by pushing your belly button towards your spine. Breathe down to your left side. And then bring yourself back to center, walking the legs over to the left, right leg on top of left leg. Take your right hand with your left arm. You're holding onto the right wrist with the left hand. Reach the right hand up towards the wall behind you, and then bending your body towards the left. Protect your low back. Feel that stretch on the right. Breathe to the right. Take one more breath, really pulling that right arm up towards the wall and over to the left. Bring yourself back to neutral. Bend your arms, bend your knees. Push your feet into the floor, lift your pelvis up, put your pelvis back down. But as you put it back down, tilt your pelvis backwards. So you're trying to push the top edge of the back of the pelvis towards the ground. Then place the pelvis back down onto the ground. The arms are to the side. Feet are as wide as the mat. Lift your head up. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Let your middle of your head touch the floor. If it's really uncomfortable for your head, you could put a blanket, a little tiny thin fold blanket underneath your neck. So we're going to stretch the hips here with the back supported in extension. Bring your awareness to your kneecaps and start to let your kneecaps go side to side. Blanket is behind your heart. If this is feeling too aggravating for the head or for the spine at all, you could actually move it away and then come onto your back and support your head. When you do this, knees to the side, let your awareness be in the back of your body. Close your eyes. Do you feel the back of the body? Do you feel the spine? Where do you feel it? What do you feel? Soles of the feet stay on the ground at first. And then you could slowly start to let the soles of the feet go off as you let your knees go a little farther. Close your eyes, be in the back of your body. There's a little bit of rotational force that's going to come into your body, so pay attention to your low back because you've got your thoracic spine in what's called extension, the opposite of its home. And the next curve that's going to experience tension is going to be the cervical, which is above, the lumbar, which is below. So close your eyes, be in your body. Stretching your torso. This can have some good effects on gut health and on digestion. So we're supporting digestion with physical movement, getting lymph to move and other fluids in the system, and putting the body in a shape that allows for deeper breathing. So the diaphragm moves down and presses into the organs of the belly, but also so that you oxygenate your body. And then we get lymph to move, which is part of detoxification and immune health. Let your head go the opposite direction of your knees. So more rotation now coming into the cervical spine and maybe a little in lumbar, closing your eyes, making sure that your journey in your joints right now is appropriate. And then one more each side. Bringing yourself back to neutral. Walk your feet closer to your body. Roll onto your side. The blanket could still be underneath your body. Cradle your head in your arms, so you're supporting your cervical spine here. And let your body be in this side position for a little second, letting your spine go back to a neutral position. Kind of neutral. You've got this blanket here. And then notice how you're feeling. Notice what's going on in your body. Notice how you're feeling. Then taking your hand on the ground, we're going to push really slow and use the muscles of the upper body. So you're going to push slowly to bring yourself up and to come all the way up and out. Take your blanket, open up your blanket. And then come on your blanket with your knees. Take your block, put your block between your ankles, sit on your block, or put it in between the tushy and the heels, or sit in a cross-legged position. Coming into a position to close your eyes, to notice how you're feeling after that movement and breath work. It actually has a lot of aspects to what we just did, and we may have shook the snow globe a little, and you may have some dust particles floating around in your system. So I want you to pay attention right now to how you're feeling, noticing if there's any sensations of yucky as we did move the lymphatic vessels, we compressed organs, and that compression is going to move fluids in the body. And sometimes what we have in our body needs to be moved. And it needs to be moved, dislodged, so we could breathe, sweat, pee, or poop it out of our body. Pathways, channels of elimination. Blink your eyes open. So let's do a little release to get rid of stuff.
Let's move our body. We're going to do a very, very big exhalation. So if there is anything in the bloodstream that's in the form of gas that could be removed, we're going to remove it this way. I want you to mentally and emotionally take whatever you're feeling right now, anything that's heavy, that is not good, that is wasteful, that is needing to leave your body. We're going to do that. We're going to do 3 rounds of whoosh. To do the shh, like an SH sound, that SH, when we do that, we place the tongue where we place the tongue. It actually is linked to our pelvic floor, fascially, soft tissue. There's a connection from tongue to pelvic floor. So this shh is a release position. And we're going to be doing an extended exhale. So we're going to try to release out of our system anything that feels yucky right now. That's the word I'd like to use, is yucky. Sometimes you can feel a little headachy, a little bit, especially when you start to do all that deep stretching and dislodge things. And this is where we have to pay attention to sometimes the path to healing and to healthy has some murky areas into it. So let's release through the grab, hold, and whoosh breath. Okay, so let's take an exhale. Inhale, grab. Hold. This time to the sides. Behind you. Close your eyes, let your hands rest on your thighs. Elbows are underneath your shoulders, noticing your heart, noticing the pumping of the fluids in your body. You accelerated your heart with that. Put a smile on your face, curve up the sides of your lips. Notice how you're feeling. And then blink your eyes open. Our gut and this area of our body is really important to how we age, how we feel, our immune health, our detoxification. So many aspects of us is right here. And our lifestyle sitting and compressing this area does not allow for the deep breath, does not allow for the proper movement of everything that needs to move. So a lot of breath work into the belly, a lot of keeping your mind in the present moment, so stimulating parasympathetic nervous system to allow yourself to biochemically, physiologically be in a really healthy position. And so that's even what the physical practice does. It takes us deep into the biochemistry and physiology and makes some shifts there as well. So let's bring some movement into our body, moving even more things through our body, coming onto your shins. Take your hands down alongside your body. Try to bring your legs a little close together. The closer together they are, the more challenge it'll be for balance. So for those of you working on balance, see if you could bring your legs a little closer. If you need them to be a little farther apart, then do that. Notice where you're at. Your hips are having a balance here on your in your hip joint, your leg bones in your hips. Take your hands down alongside your body. Exhale. Inhale with stretch. So stretch your hands, stretch your arms away from your body. Let your gaze go up. Let your hands go up. Feel the stretch in your belly as you draw the ribs away from the pelvis. Turn your hands down as you exhale. Let your neck be long, and at the end of the exhale, let your chin move down towards your chest. So a lot of stretching here in the upper body. Inhale up. Exhale, begin. Really reach long and wide and stretch the back of your neck as your chin comes down towards your chest. If you close your eyes, it brings even more nervous system work, proprioceptive nervous system, proprioceptive, as you're joints are trying to figure out where are you, and you may get a little wavering back and forth, side to side. Use breath, use awareness, stretch your body, stretch your fingers, stretch your arms, move your neck. And then bring yourself down to neutral. Let's go lateral here. Lift your hand up and over, opposite hand reaches down, feel that stretch, and then switch. Try to unbend your elbows and try to keep your arms alongside your body and let them be long and reach through the fingertips. Imagine that you're up against a wall and your fingernails are grazing on that wall. If shoulders are not happy, bend your elbow when you do this. Find a way to move and bend your spine laterally, side to side. Find a way to stretch your hands, stretch your arms, whatever you can do. And then bring yourself back to center. We're going to start with rotation, bringing that into the upper spine first. So let's take our legs a little wider here, because when we get into rotation, the spine is what's rotating. We're going to move our upper limbs in order to get that. And the wider stance is going to keep you nice and stable here in your pelvis. Hip lights, heart lights. Our hip lights and our heart lights. Let's pay attention to that. So you got pelvis, rib cage, and them moving away from each other or independently is part of that rotation happening in the spine. That's when we are rotating. When our heart and our hips are forward, our spine doesn't have rotation. But when we start to move them, then we're starting to bring in rotation to the spine. So let's begin first with the head, taking just the head to the side. Inhale, exhale, back to center. Inhale, back to center. Now you can let your shoulders go and put your hands on your hips. As you move to the side, let your hands slide, let your head look a little farther. And then notice what you notice inside your body. Where do you feel the stretch? Obliques, core muscles, back muscles. Bring yourself back to center. Let's let the elbow go a little farther and the hand. Elbow and the hand. Inhale. 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 Getting a little deeper now, going towards the hip bones. If your low back is not happy, squeeze your tushy and point your tailbone straight down. It'll limit your range of motion, but it'll stabilize the lower back. One more. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's work through extension, which is a back bend. So when you come here, you want your upper spine to bend. So try to get the upper spine to bend. And then we'll come forward and hug ourselves, not coming into flexion. So the hugging yourself comes back to neutral. The extension, when you take your arms to the side, shoulder blades are going to slide towards the spine. Push them forward to lift your heart up. Trying to focus on these 12 vertebrae here, the thoracic spine and the cervical, opening and stretching the front of these 7 bones and these 12 bones, 19 bones. Let's see if we could stretch them and feel that stretch. Low back is the next curve, and it is already in a back bend. So in order to protect it, legs are a little wide. Squeeze your tushy cheeks Tilt your pelvis backwards and point the tailbone down towards the floor to help stabilize the lower portion of your body. Exhale, inhale, open. Exhale back to center. Squeeze your tushy, point your tailbone down. Feel the shoulder blades sliding towards your spine. One more. Come open and stay open. Stay here. Teeth together. Draw your chin up. Feel the stretch in your neck. Push your heart forward. Squeeze your tushy cheeks. And then bring yourself out. Let's come down to rest, whatever that means for you. Kneeling on a block, kneeling on your heels, sitting in a crisscross leg position, whatever it needs to be for you. Close your eyes. Take one more breath. And then open your eyes. So we're going to do a little flow movement to stretch our spine, to stretch our chest, to stretch the side of the body. A lot of lymphatic vessels are underneath our armpits. And so when we stretch, the lymph only moves in the body through movement and massage. That's it. So if you're not getting regular massages or you're not massaging yourself, we've got to move to let that lymph move through the system. The lymphatic system on the left side of your body, the aortic arch, the lymphatic system dumps the lymph into the circulatory system to be cleansed, to be then put into the tissues and brought back into the system. So this detoxification and immune aspect of lymph, really important. And the movements we're doing in the practice are what's helping to facilitate that. So any movement is good movement. Do what's appropriate to you, what is safe to you in your body. We're going to try to keep the arms straight if possible. That'll give you a little bit more stretch. And for some of you, you may need a block here. So let's all start with the block, see how that goes. Taking your arms forward, walk your feet back so that they're at the back edge of your blanket. And then it's the hip joint that's going to bend. So keep your head up. Let's do a little movement back and forth where you keep your head up and you bend your hips and you try to bring your belly closer to your top thighs. Imagine, let your tushy really point up in the air. Imagine that you have raw eggs where your legs attach to your body and you're trying to crack the raw eggs with your belly pushing into your hip joint. And then start to go a little farther. See how that stretch comes higher up. Your head is active, so don't let your head look down. Let your head look forward. And yes, you may be feeling tension in your upper back and neck because you're strengthening those muscles and you're not caving in and letting the roundness of the upper body happen. So this is a preventative action for that kyphosis or rounding the spine. And I know it's uncomfortable to stretch or to you feel that sensation. You may want to move away from it, but what you're actually doing is strengthening your upper back and neck muscles. And going as far back to either putting your head on that block or you could put your head on the ground. So choose what's appropriate for you. You may not need the block there. You may be able to put your head on the ground. Inhale when you come up, go slow. Let's slow it down with movement. Exhale to go back. One more, stay down, take a couple of breaths when you're down.
Really point your tushy up in the air. Push your heart towards the ground. Take one more breath. Lifting your head up. Bring yourself up, bring yourself out.
Rest. Close your eyes. Feeling, noticing. And then open your eyes. So we're going to move on to strength. Strengthening our joints now that everything is lubricated, moved around. Let's focus on strengthening the joints. We are going to do some of this from an all fours position. So for those of you with wrist issues, if you have any wedges or something to prop up your wrists, they have wedge-shaped blocks that you can put your hands on, or rolling up the front of your mat so that you have less of a bend in your wrist. And then strengthening our wrist joints is really important. So doing what you can, not avoiding anything completely, but finding where you can be with this. So you bring yourself onto all fours. We're going to be strengthening our upper back and neck by keeping our head neutral or even lifting our head up. And then take your hands underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your pelvis. Contract your core, push your belly button up towards your spine to stabilize your trunk. Exhale. And as you inhale, lift your left arm up, stay here. Then bring your hand down. I'm taking 5 breaths. So if you'd like, now you're going to bring the right hand up, 5 breaths here. And if you need to come down earlier, go ahead and do so. Keep your head active. Bring your hands down, feel that tension. Move your hands so your pointer fingers are forward. Spread your fingers a lot. Press your fingers into the floor so you see white in your fingernails, white and red. Really distribute that weight so it's not just in the wrists. Then your knees are coming straight down from your hips, so don't have them too wide. Slide your left leg back and lift your left leg up off the ground. 5 long breaths here. Keep your head active. Bringing your knee down, putting your knees underneath your pelvis. We're going to do the right leg, so slide the right leg back. Inhale to rise. 5 breaths here. Head is active. Bring your leg down. Bring yourself up into kneeling. Let's take a break with the wrists. Holding the limbs out in the joint, strengthening the joint to have to stabilize and manage holding the leg away from your body like this. Take your hands, move your hands, take your arm across your body and then stretch the wrist, pushing the hand towards you. You could stay up in the kneeling position or sit down on your heels, whatever feels okay for your body. And then flip your hand up, pushing the hands towards you, reaching to the center of the heel of the hand. And then going to the other side. Take your arm across your body, bend your wrist down, push your hand towards you. Tall your spine. And flip your hand up, reaching through the heel of your hand. Relax, take your hands, move your hands, shake your wrists. We're gonna come up and we're gonna do spinal balance, diagonal, holding one arm up, one leg up. So we are gonna be weight bearing on our wrists again. You may feel that there, but we're strengthening the wrist, strengthening the joints of the wrist, really important. We're gonna strengthen the back of the body in this. 5 long, slow, deep breaths. And if you need to come out earlier, please do so. Taking your hand on the ground. Take your left leg back, your right hand forward. Your gaze is forward. Really spread the left hand, push the left fingers into the ground. Exhale. And then inhale to lift, 5 deep breaths. Bring yourself down and out. Slide the left hand away, right leg, exhale. Inhale, lift up. Active head. Bring yourself down. Come all the way out. Shake your wrists. So let's go down onto the ground. Take your blanket. Come on to your tushy. Sitting on your tushy, I want to strengthen the back and the shoulder joint. We're going to do the reverse plank for those that can. So you could try legs straight, or you could do knees bent. You get a little higher, you're going to do a little more shoulder work, shoulder stretch. We'll do a couple to warm up the joints for this, and then we're going to hold for 5 long, slow breaths. Of course, if you need to come down, come down. Hands are close together, feet are pointing away from you, and so are your fingers. Take an exhale. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale, push away evenly, lift up. One more, we're going to hold for 5 breaths, or however long you can. Bringing yourself down. The longer we stay in the postures, the more strength we develop. So you determine what's appropriate for you. Take a break, come into whatever seated position is good for you, kneeling or crisscross, close your eyes, catch your breath. And gently blink your eyes open. Come onto your side, come all the way down, reach your hand long, come down onto the ground. Move your blanket so it's underneath your head. Take your arms and your legs in the air and shake. Let your body settle. And put your feet on the ground, put your hands on your belly, lengthen the back of your neck, close your eyes. Check in with how you're feeling. Grab your block, take your block between your legs, take your hands between your head, elbows are out to the side, walk your feet so they're block distance. Squeeze the block and do a little pelvic tilting, pushing your low back towards the ground and then letting your low back come away from the ground. Low back to the ground and coming back away. So relieving the low back and warming up the core muscles, trunk stabilizing muscles, spinal stabilizing muscles. Inhale. As you exhale, contract your core, press your low back towards the ground, lift your upper body off the floor, tip of the nose straight up towards the sky. Inhale slowly to lower, rocking all the way towards your tailbone. Exhale to lift, contract, flatten low back. Inhale to lower. Close your eyes, feel this in your body. Undulating your spine and the lower spine all the way to the tip of the tailbone, to the lower ribs. For these next couple, don't flatten your low back, but when you come up, keep your low back away from the ground, feel the tailbone in the ground, squeeze the block, lift your upper trunk up, and challenge your body isometrically in the way it needs to be to hold you upright when you're standing, sitting, moving. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Next time you come up, stay up. Low back is away from the ground. You feel the pelvis pressing into the ground. You're lifting your upper trunk up. Your core is active, holding your upper body away from the ground. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself down. Let's do a little rotation. Press the left elbow into the floor. Inhale. As you exhale, flatten the left lower back. Lift the right elbow up. Rotate the right elbow over towards the left. Inhale to lower. Go slow. Exhale, squeeze the block. Lift the body up. Right arm is on the ground. Left arm lifts. Rotating over towards the right. Inhale to lower. Exhale. And inhale.
Go really slow here. The slower you go, the more opportunity for strength to develop in your core, your spine, your trunk stabilizing muscles. Slow down your breath. One more each side. And then bring yourself down. Take the block out. Draw the knees in. Keep your legs in the air. Bring your arms in the air. Press the thoracic spine where the ribs are towards the ground. Press the low back towards the ground. And then move your legs away from you a little bit, as much as you can, to keep that low back into the ground. Feel the activation of your core here. You're working here. You're not just hanging out. Press your low back into the ground a lot. Try to move your knees away as much as you can, still keeping that posterior tilt and keeping the low back pressing into the ground. Lower ribs are pressing towards the floor. And then take a break. So you should go into a place where it's really challenging to keep the low back into the ground, moving the legs away and pressing the thoracic spine towards the ground. Activating lower ribs, pressing towards the ground, really activating your core, coming into that bracing or contracted action with the core to stabilize the trunk. Let's do that again. Bring yourself up, activate first, contract the core, push the thoracic spine towards the ground, push the whole low back towards the ground a lot. And then from here, move the legs away to where you feel the appropriate tension. Push the top of your pelvis into the ground. And then take a break. We're going to do one more, trying to push the whole lower back from top pelvis, lower ribs, that whole low back into the ground as you then try to move the legs away to wherever you can to feel the work that you need in order to stabilize that action. Again. First, activate, press the low back into the ground, top of the pelvis a lot, contract your core, and then challenge. Keep pressing low back into the ground. And then release. Bring your legs onto the ground, hands on your belly. We're going to work on the trunk stabilizers. Arms are alongside your body. Feet, march your feet so wherever your feet go, they go. Your blanket, have it on the thinnest fold possible. You need to push your feet into the floor. Feet are body distance. And then lift your pelvis away from the ground. So you could actually put your hand underneath your tushy, but that's about it. You're not too high. You're only lifting off until about the lower ribs. Feet are pointing forward. Push your left foot into the floor and lift your right leg off. Slowly bring your right foot down. Push both feet into the floor, they're hip distance. Exhale. Inhale, push your right foot into the floor, lift your left leg off. Bring your left foot down, bring both legs down, draw your knees into your chest, rock side to side. Get your strap, bring the loop of your strap into your feet, feet go in, loop is on top of your thighs. We're going to move the blanket away from the head and do a few deep bridges, and then we're going to hold for 5, strengthening the back. So take your blanket away from the back of your head, slide your shoulders closer together, take your hands on the ground, walk your feet closer to your body. Your strap is only letting your legs be body distance. Tilt your pelvis backwards, exhale, and then as you inhale, reaching up, feeling the back of the spine, move away from the ground, up to the upper back, no pressure in the head and neck. Exhale to lower. Inhale. Exhale. One more. We're going to come up and we're going to hold for 5 long, slow, deep breaths. Slowly bring yourself down. Blanket back behind your head. Strap off. Knees into your chest. And bring yourself into a wide leg, soles of the feet up towards the sky, drawing the legs towards your body, rocking side to side, relaxing your low back. Let your legs and arms go up to the sky. Shake. Feet on the floor, hands on the belly, eyes are closed. Let your awareness go up and down your body, noticing what you notice. Determining if this was an appropriate practice for you today. Let's come into Shavasana from here. Legs go straight, arms go to the side of the body, or stay on your belly, whatever you'd like. Stay with your breath. Allow the dust to settle.
고민돼 못한데 오늘의 약과를 하리엄 가리엄 내 맘에 약함에 고민돼 못한데 오늘의 약과를 가리엄 가리엄 내 맘에 약함에 고민돼 못한데 오늘의 약과를 가리엄 가리엄 내 맘에 약함에 고민돼 못한데 오늘의 약과를 가리엄 가리엄 내 맘에 약함에 고민돼 못한데 오늘의 약과를 가리엄 가리엄 내 맘에 약함에 고민돼 못한데 오늘의 약과를 가리엄 가리엄 내 맘에 약함에 고민돼 못한데 오늘의 약과를 가리엄 가리엄 내 맘에 약함에 고민돼 못한데 오늘의 약과를 가리엄 가리엄 내 맘에 약함에 고민돼 못한데 오늘의 약과를 가리엄 가리엄 내 맘에 약함에
Gently begin to deepen your breath. And start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Begin to bend your knees, drawing your knees into your chest, rocking side to side, coming all the way onto your side, and slowly pushing yourself away from the ground. Let's close the practice today with sound, a gentle humming sound. Take your hands together, rub your hands together, bring your hands to your heart. Mouth will be closed. We'll do a humming sound. Exhale. Inhale. Bowing in namaste, bowing in gratitude for the practice.
So today's practice, we held some joints in a certain position to develop strength, noticing if that's appropriate for you. And then if you are doing this with your own practice, find that sweet spot. How many breaths is appropriate for you to challenge yourself enough to create more strength in your muscles, your bones, and in your body? All right. So, how are you feeling? Great. Stevie. Hi, Carolyn. Nice to have you. So I hope that that was appropriate for everyone, that you could do whatever you do. Hopefully that is what happens. You do you, and you do something. Marianne, great. That's lovely. Yep, well, this is for healthy aging. So joint stability, super important for balance, posture, alignment, everything. So glad you liked that. Happy to have you. And all right, so I'm here tomorrow for osteoporosis, yoga for osteoporosis, Saturday, yoga managing stress, and 5 days a week I teach. 3 of them are on YouTube. I would love to have you. And I'm in a summit that's currently happening now. So go to my website, DebbieRobinson.com, to see anything that's current that's happening will be posted on the homepage, DEBIRobinson.com. Share this with your friends if you know someone that would be interested in my channel. I've got a podcast, Stronger Bones Lifestyle. There's a lot of episodes being uploaded to my channel. So share this information if you have friends that this may be beneficial for, or family. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you when I see you.